Yo, what's going on, Dragon Ballers? Welcome back to another video. Today we are starting our journey into Set 19 Fighters Ambition Reveals, and we'll be starting today with the Saiyan Trio archetype. I am going to be calling it GVT for Goku, Vegeta, Trunks. That's what we'll be referring to it in this video. I'm assuming people are going to call this like Trio Ku or something. I hate the Ku nickname, so I'll be going with GVT. Anyways, though, if you guys are new here, make sure to subscribe, hit that bell so never miss a video. And if you guys want to support the channel, there are tons of ways to do so down in the description. Yesterday on the Patreon, I posted the red competitive analysis. So today, basically, I'll be going over the cards, what they do, and some neat interactions. I will give some thoughts as to how I think this will land competitively. But if you want the full competitive breakdown of this and Android 13, I do have that on Patreon from yesterday. It does support the channel a lot, and I think you get some good value out of the articles there for your competitive growth. Anyways, let's jump right on into things, starting with the unawakened side of the leader. When this card attacks, draw 1, awaken when you place 4 or less, or you have 2 or more energy, and a Goku, Vegeta, or Trunks, all red with EX Evolve in play. You may draw 1 card, switch one of your energy to active mode, and add cards from your life to your hand until you have 6 life left. Once you get to the awakened side, auto, discard 1 red sand from your hand. When this card attacks, draw 2, so good filter there. Activate main once per turn. If you have 3 or more mono red energy, play up to 1 Goku, Vegeta, or Trunks, all red with energy cost of 1 from your drop with its skills negated for the turn in rest mode. At the end of turn, place that card in your drop. Okay, so just from the regular leader alone, both the unawakened and awakened side, you can see a very clear resemblance to yellow Trunks Vegeta, and we'll see more of that once we get to the actual evolve cards. But we know this is an EX Evolve strategy based on the unawakened side of the leader. This thing plays 1 drops from the drop area, which are then to be evolved over, just like yellow Trunks. So it is similar in that sense. It's kind of like a red version of that deck, but honestly in a worse way in my opinion. But we'll get more into that, I guess, into the battle cards. Then we have the Z leader. So we've got a Z awaken for 1 red and 1 Z energy. Then we have double strike base in the leader. Z awaken for a red when your life's 3 or less, and you place up to 3 of your Z energy under your leader card. Excuse me. So okay, so it's actually a 4 Z energy Z awaken. All right, over the GVT leader. When this card attacks, for each non-leader card under this card gains plus 10k power for the battle. So swinging for 45k, I guess. Double strike, not the worst. Place all non-leader cards from under this card in their owner's drops as a cost. At the end of your turn, choose all your opponent's battle cards. They get minus 10k power for the turn for each card placed in a drop by the skill, and remove this card from the game. So that should be an optional auto, so you can keep this leader around if you would like to. But if you need that minus 10k and everything, you can do that, and you give up this leader and go back to your GVT leader. But yeah, this leader is very expensive, and to be honest with you, the biggest problem with this deck, and honestly all the decks they've shown for set 19 so far, they have a really hard time generating Z energy. And honestly, I think like most decks in the game have a big problem generating Z energy, except for the decks they printed to do it very, very easily. Those being SS4 Gogeta, Red Sin Shenron, Gamma to a degree because of its synergy with the teaming up 17-18 Unison. Most other decks in the game, unless you're getting aggressed pretty quickly, or you just were already good at comboing like Launch and it wasn't really with Zenkai in mind, you're very bad at setting up Z energy, and this deck is very bad at it as well. You would think because like, oh, I can just play a million 1-drops, which we'll see on the next slide, I can just combo them all off for Z energy. But you don't want to combo those 1-drops from your hand because you haven't generated value off of them yet. You want to play them for the 1 energy, you know, have them replace themselves and then combo them off. But that takes up your turn. That costs you energy, where like SS4 Gogeta, for example, is playing a draw 2 battle card for 0 energy. So again, like I kind of come back to this very frequently, but there's just this huge disparity with how they've printed certain decks in the ways they generate Z energy and the tools they have at their disposal that I just don't understand. But anyways, I guess enough of that. Let's go into the 1-drops. We have Goku at the ready, Trunks at the ready, and Vegeta at the ready. So they all share an activate main. I'll read the one on Goku first. Activate main limit 1. If your leaders are red Goku, Vegeta, Trunks card, and you have a Vegeta or Trunks card, both red with EX Evolve in play, play this card from your hand in rest mode. At the end of the turn, place this card in the owner's drop area. So they all read similar. If you have the corresponding other guys in play, you can free play these, but they get played in rest mode. If they were to be played in active mode with the stipulation they go to the drop in the turn, this would have been a really good way to generate Z energy that I don't think would have been too broken. I mean, you're still free playing them in rest mode, which means you want to EX evolve because these EX evolves switch them to active mode. So that is good for setting up your board. It's very easy on like turn 2 or turn 3 to have all 3 of these guys out with their corresponding evolves on top of them. You can make a board of 19Ks, which we'll see in a minute. But again, that I think was a missed opportunity for being able to set up Z energy more easily. But anyways, Goku's auto, when this card's played, look at top 5 cards of your deck, add up to 1 red sand with energy cost of 4 or less, among them to your hand, then shuffle your deck. Trunks is a simple, when it's played, draw a card. And then Vegeta, when this card's played, add up to 1 Goku, Vegeta, or Trunks, all red with energy cost of 3 and EX evolve from your drop to your hand. So we saw the leader pitches sands to draw, so once you're on your awakened side, you can play this to pick up any sands that you have discarded. Obviously, Vegeta's like kind of the worst one because he won't be really usable unless you have a drop area set up, whereas Goku and Trunks are very usable because 1 searches and 1 draws, right? So yeah, these 1 drops are like fine cards, but again, I kind of wish the active main played them in active mode so you have a bit of an easier time setting up Z energy. But anyways, let's check out the evolves. So firstly, we have Goku evolve defensive. So EX evolve for a red over a Goku with energy cost of 1. When this card's played by evolve, draw 1 and switch this card to active mode. They all share that skill. When this card attacks on the Goku, choose one of your opponent's battle cards and gets minus 15k for the turn. Not bad for some cheap-ish removal. Activate main limit 1. If you have a Vegeta or Trunks card, both red with energy cost of 3 and EX evolve in play, play this card from your hand. So they all share that ability. Basically, if you have the other characters in play, you can play them for 1 as a simple 1-drop 19k threat. You don't draw, obviously, because you only draw when you play it by evolve, but still you're setting up that that board presence if you really need to do that. So going into Trunks, we're going to skip the EX evolve effect and the activate main because we just explained those. Trunks, at the end of your turn, it goes back to active mode. Notice it's also a blocker, so you can swing with it, get a block. And then Vegeta, his auto is a bit more complicated. When this card attacks, place it in the owner's drop at the end of the turn. When this card's placed in a drop by this skill, add up to 1 Goku or Trunks, both red with an energy cost of 3 and EX evolve from your drop to your hand. So you can see the Vegetas in this archetype are designed to recycle your resources back to your hand. So these cards are fine, I guess. The one problem that I noticed is like I've actually tested and played this deck, and you set up a board full of 19Ks and your turn gets shut off by a single like Senzu Bean effect. So in blue, that's actually Senzu Bean. In red, Sin, for example, they have Dragon Thunder. In Gogeta, they have the Digging Deep Goku that they can combo with. Or if they play the red-black Gogeta, that also gives them 5k. So yeah, these cards are much easier to deal with than anything Sin is playing or anything SS4 Gogeta is playing. So based off that, definitely seems like a weaker archetype. But anyways, let's go to the final slide here. There are some cards here that I like, maybe only one, honestly. So Goku, Vegeta, Trunks triple combination. We have a 4-drop 20k. We have auto limit 1. Place 1 card from under this card in the owner's drop. When this card attacks, choose one of your opponent's battle cards, and it gets minus 30k for the turn. Great removal. Activate main for a red. Choose 1 red, stay in your battle area. Play this card from your hand and place the chosen card under it. So for 1 energy, as long as you have a Saiyan in play, this is a 20k threat that kills most things in the game. This is a very good card. This is a super rare. It's going to be played in just about every single red Saiyan deck, aka SS4 Gogeta. Then we have the boss monster printed for the strategy, and this kind of gets me tilted. So Goku Spirit Bomb Absorb. We have an 8-drop 30k triple strike barrier. Good stats being an 8-drop with barrier. It doesn't typically need deflect because theoretically for 3 energy you can get underneath like someone's Boo Unison and play this, but the stipulation attached to the activate main makes this card very difficult to actually play. So if you lose a red Saiyan card, you choose 5, a combination of all these, a Gohan Youth, a Vegeta, a Trunks, a Piccolo, or a Krillin, all red in your drop, and play this card from your hand, then place chosen cards with a skill under it. So you have to have all those in the drop. We've seen effects like this before that need a drop area set up in order to play them, attach their energy cost. Activate battle limit 1, place 5 cards from under this card in the owner's drop. This card gets plus 10k power for the turn. Choose all your opponent's battle cards. They get minus 20 for the turn. And at the end of the turn, place this card in the owner's drop. Play up to 1 red Goku with energy cost of 1 from your drop. So I get it. It's thematic. That's great. But man, like this card takes a fair amount of setup. 3 energy in a red deck is kind of a lot. And then on top of that, needing the 5 cards in the drop, meaning you played a rather archetype focused deck, only to use activate battle. That just gives like a simple minus 20 to the board, and then like you lose this boss monster at the end of all that. Like yeah, you're swinging for a 40k triple strike, but I mean, this is getting negated most of the time. Like, a competent player is going to know that if they see this card come down, they have to negate it. You might catch them without a negate, but that's just more luck of the draw than anything. But yeah, like, all these red archetypes, red follows like a pretty strict formula, right? So most red decks for like the past like 5 or so sets, they have 1-drop threats, just like we saw with the EX Evolve guys, and they have a 3 to 4 cost boss monster. We've seen the Galactic Explorers trio, we've seen Ultra Mastery, we've seen SS4 Gogeta Triumphant together that kind of fit this mold, right? And this is this deck's boss monster, but for some reason, if you want to use this guy's full effect, you lose him at the end of that. If this was a 2-drop, I could understand that, but being a 3-drop and needing all those cards in the drop, it's this card's pretty rough to use in my opinion. So anyways, moving on from that, we have Gohan at the ready. We have a 1-drop battle Z battle card with a 1 Z energy cost. It's a blocker, permanent. Your red Saiyans with energy cost of 3 and evolve gain blocker. So all your EX evolves gain blocker, even though Trunks already had it. Auto, at the end of your turn, choose one of your red Saiyan cards with evolve and switch it to active mode, so you can restand a blocker that's not a Trunks basically. Activating once per turn. If your leader's a red GVT card, during your opponent's next turn, when one of your red Saiyan cards with energy cost of 3 and evolve is placed in your drop, add it to your Z energy from your drop. Now, I'm trying to understand this and say, I guess like if you block with multiple and they get KO'd, you could theoretically add all of them to your Z energy. But this is just, again, such a weird effect. Like, I really don't like these engine, like, foundational cards that don't have protection or don't lead to impactful foundations being built. And what I mean by that is, this is a card that's meant to generate you Z energy, but I had to invest all this energy into this board of blockers if you have this card on board with the permanent, and I need to lose all those cards to generate my Z energy, where, again, like, I come back to these examples all the time. Sin, Gogeta, they make Z energy. They literally print it for free. Like, it's just, I don't understand why the power levels have to be so different, because it makes this deck so much harder to compete with when compared to Gogeta and Sin. Now, of course, we don't know what the ban list is going to look like. Maybe Sin and Gogeta get absolutely neutered going into set 19, but I kind of find that a little bit unlikely, but I guess we'll see. Final card, though, Piccolo at the ready, 5-drop 20k blocker permanent. This card gets minus 10k during your turn and gains barrier during your opponent's turn. Auto limit 1 for a red. If your leader is a red GVT card and your opponent has 2 or more energy, when you place a red Saiyan, the energy cost of 3 in the EX evolve from your battle area in a drop, play this card from your hand. Auto once per turn. When this card activates blocker, switch it to active mode at the end of the turn, place it in the owner's drop. So 20k barrier blocker, you can block twice with it, but you're going to lose it at the end of that turn. And that's just another needless like stipulation in my opinion. Just leave in the barrier blocker. It can't really do anything offensive during your own turn. Just leave him with the barrier blocker twice. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I know this seems like a lot of ragging here and a lot of nagging, but I just don't understand the power disparity. I know not every deck can be of the same power level, but I feel like there are things you can see as a designer that allow you to kind of just take note and say, like, okay, if we print this way, this can't compare to like SS4 Gogeta, right? Like, I feel like that should be relatively obvious. I don't know, just my thoughts. I guess I'll finish complaining now, but anyways, let me know in the comments below what you guys think about this archetype. If you're looking forward to it, I'm very happy for you. This will be fun to play at locals competitively, unless they do something crazy to Sin and Gogeta. Not gonna be all that great in my opinion, but anyways, let me know in the comments below what you think. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.